Alright, today I'm going to be reacting to When the Pawn by Fiona Apple. I have heard one Fiona Apple album before this. I believe it was Fetch the Bolt Cutters. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped to get into this. Came out in 1999. 10 songs, 42 minutes. As always, the uncut reaction is going to be on Patreon. I think I've heard one song on this album. I think I've heard the last track. I know. I mean, I have it as a liked song, so I'm pretty sure I've heard it. It looks like the full title of the album is this right here. When the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. When he knows, throws the blows. Okay, what is happening? Pretty sinister chords. Ooh. That's an interesting note to go to. I like that. There's too many variations to consider. Nothing I do, don't do nothing but bring me more to do. It's true, I do imbue my blue, and to myself I make it bitter. The rhymes here. Getting in her MF Doom bag. Oh, what instrument is that? Do me good. Maybe some faith do me good. It's pretty jazzy too, with these chords. Very theatrical. Oh. So much variety in the instruments being used, especially during this outro, man. Oh. Carried by that piano part too. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. A lot more theatrical and kind of maximalist compared to Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Of course, that kind of piano kind of stabling things throughout the entire track. Lyrically, it seems to be kind of just this pessimistic kind of outlook. And it kind of matches with the kind of sinister chords of the track as well. You say the things that it's all going to be all right. I believe that it isn't. So she has someone here, kind of consoling her maybe, but she still feels kind of pessimistic towards the future, I guess. This chorus is ironic, states her lover is all she needs, a romantic cliche thing to say, but adds something else in the last line indicating that she's not convinced of this. Yeah, so it is kind of a cool kind of take on the kind of cliches that you find in usual, just kind of your basic love songs. I felt like the outro was a bit long on that track, a bit tedious, but other than that, I think it was pretty solid. I think I'm gonna stop with the track ratings. I don't know. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. We're stopping the track ratings. At this point, I feel like I want to get less away from rating stuff and more just talking about stuff. I might still include like scores in the description, but I want to focus less on that and more just on the experiences of the first listens. All right, To Your Love. Very dry piano sound. Don't know how to feel about that. I love how quick this is, but also it's still smooth and kind of soulful. Kind of feels old-timey, like in like a old like animated like superhero cartoon type thing, like some old Batman cartoon or something. Oh, I was gone. I was gone during that track. I feel like everything just happened so fast. Like 3 minutes 40, you have a verse, chorus, second verse, another chorus, bridge, verse 3, chorus, and then an outro. I felt like it was just like hitting me with so many different ideas in such a short time span, but I felt like it kept it really engaging. The flow from verse to chorus to bridge to verse again to chorus was really seamless. Like I said, that track was quick. It had a lot of energy, but it still felt smooth and kind of soulful and kind of this mischievous, kind of mysterious feel. It was great. I think I like that more than the first one, definitely. Lyrically, pretty vulnerable here. Please forgive me for my distance. Pain is evident in my existence. Kind of seems like carrying some of the themes from the last track forward, definitely. Yeah, we'll see if these themes kind of continue. Kind of this bitter and very kind of pessimistic look at this relationship here. When I say pessimistic, I realize it sounds like I'm kind of discrediting her emotions. So I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm just saying that I feel like that's a good word to describe it. I'm not saying she has to be optimistic, obviously. All right, the next track is Limp.
You wanna make me sick, you wanna lick my wounds, don't you, baby? But you're the one in the way of the day of doom, baby.
Interesting spot for the drums to come in.
When I think of it, my fingers turn to fists. I never did anything to you, man. Lying up in your own hands.
Cool structure. Like the push and pull.
Standing on the sidelines, waving and grinning.
It's a good line right here.
You fondle my trigger, then you blame my gun.
Ooh, that bass line. Oh. Bah, bah, bah. Drums here are crazy.
When I think of it, my fingers turn to fists. I never did anything to you, man. Be lying, live in your own hands.
Love the attitude. Oh my goodness. So carrying this resentment forward, kind of more obvious on this track, more just kind of in your face, and the music definitely matches that with this really upbeat and really energetic chorus. I do like the push and pull of the track quite a bit as well when it goes into the verses with that kind of watery percussion section, and that drum solo in between these choruses here was pretty sick as well. My only complaint so far is the sound of the pianos on this album. I feel like they just sound a little bit plain, a little bit bland, and just a little bit dry, and that's probably what she's going for, but for me it's just not I don't love the aesthetic of it. That's really my biggest complaint so far. But in terms of the songwriting, in terms of the vocal performances, in terms of the structures of these tracks, I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, like I said, love the attitude of that track. Next track is Ridden. I like the piano sounds better here. Sounds a bit more lush.
With the focus I gave to my birthday candles. I want you warm, but it will only make me colder when it's over. So I can't tonight, baby. My hand won't hold you down no more. The path is
Cacophonous.
and now I'm giving up on you. No, not baby anymore. If I need you, I'll just use your simple name. Only kisses on the cheek from now on.
Another great track. Kind of in the distancing herself from this person's stage of the relationship now. This is a great line. I've wished on the lidded blue flames under your brow. So the blue eyes, perhaps, but it's cool tying it back to the birthday candles. I wished for you. I don't really have much to say about the track. I do have my major critique of that track. I feel like is that I wish it was a bit longer. I felt like the emotions didn't really have enough time to simmer and develop. I just felt like it went through everything a little bit too quickly. Like, especially that part where you just had that little piano by itself. I feel like you could have extended that a little bit. Make it hit a little bit harder just by extending a couple of those sections. All right, Paper Bag. This is 39 million streams, the most on the album.
Just looking for a star to pray on or wish on or something like that. I was having a sweet fix, but I believe for a moment that my chances were approaching to be grabbed. But as it came down near, hunger hurts, and I want 'em so bad over kills. 'Cause I know I'm a messy, don't wanna clean it up. And I went crazy.
Great line. Holy.
Looking for a strand to climb, looking for a little hope. You're in my void. He said it's all in your head, and I said so's everything, but he didn't get it. I thought he was a man, but he was just a little boy.
Love the soft horns here. Yeah, I can see why that's the most streamed, definitely. Very catchy, very straight to the point, but probably some of the best writing on the album so far. Hunger hurts, but starving works when it costs too much to love. That's probably like my favorite line from the whole thing. I feel like that is really like the thesis statement of the song. Yeah, this is just great introspection, great metaphors, great imagery without ever feeling cliche or basic in any way. I loved it a lot. I liked the vocal performance too. It felt like probably the most dynamic vocal performance. She was really, maybe not so much in terms of her range, but just in terms of kind of the vocal timbre, I guess you could say, was really dynamic and kind of changed and morphed a lot throughout the song, which was really, really fun to listen to. A Mistake is the next track. Oh. Funky? Oh, I can tell I'm gonna like this. Let's go.
Gonna waste my time.
I love that texture. What is that texture?
Unpaved my path. And if you wanna make sense, what you looking at me for?
Oh, yes. Come on. Loving the textures on this track. That buzzy horn. It's almost like Gorillaz-esque. Oh, that little buzzy horn is such an earworm of a melody. Yeah, I like the attitude on this track again. Kind of just fully embracing her mistakes here. It's kind of sad as well though, because she just feels like she's just doing it on purpose at this point. There is also kind of vibes of maybe some gaslighting in here as well. Maybe this person making her feel like she's doing these mistakes on purpose, making these mistakes on purpose. So yeah, it feels like I love how blunted it is. Blunted? What? I love how blunt Fiona's writing is. I loved how blunt it was on Fetch the Bolt Cutters as well. It's really blunt and just in your face on this album as well, but it doesn't lack depth at all. There's still quite a bit of stuff that you can dive into. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely enjoying the writing on this album the most. I did love the kind of funky vibe and almost Gorillaz-esque vibe to that instrumental. But Definitely the writing is what I'm loving the most so far. There has been a lot of exhilaration on this album, I feel like, especially musically. It's almost like that exhilaration is working as sort of a, that exhilaration is almost working as like a barrier to kind of hide how she's really feeling.
So if you catch me trying to find my way into your heart from under your skin, fast as you can, baby, scratch me out, feel yourself. Don't shake and shift, but most of the time, and I'll be your girl if you say it's a gift.
Feels like she's kind of being swept off her feet here, being lulled back into the relationship. Yeah, she continues the metaphor that her partner's love is like an antidepressant drug. Groove here, man. That kind of muffled organ. That's sick. I love the push and pull to that track. Again, it feels like these kind of just two different sides of her coming out. I let the beast in. This is when it speeds up and she gets a little bit more crazy. And then this bridge is kind of when she's, I feel like, being kind of lulled back into this relationship here by this dude. It feels like just kind of two sides of herself just coming out, and they're just placed like right next to each other. I feel like it's not the most original idea. I feel like I've heard this be done in tracks before. Doesn't take away from the fact that I feel like it's executed pretty well. I am liking how cohesive and how well thought out this narrative is kind of running throughout. A little mosquito just friggin' flying in my ear. Again, she's kind of reveling in the toxicity here, maybe. Finishing like we started, with that little bee buzzing in my ear. I know it's probably a synth, but it just sounds like that. I like this track. I like it lyrically. Feels like it's, again, detailing this kind of toxic relationship. He's kind of lulling her. Keep calling me names. Keep kicking the crap till it's gone. You'll get me to settle down. Yeah, so she's just been in this horrible relationship for so long that she doesn't even know what like a good relationship is, you know? I'm not going to hammer home the same issues that I'm having. I just feel like the issues are just with the arrangement of these tracks. I feel like, again, they could breathe a little bit more. Maybe that's the point, though, but I just feel like it's not letting the emotions land as potently as they could. But again, in terms of writing, it's pretty stellar. Ooh, remind me of BCNR. Love that kind of clashing of those notes. It's great. Right here. Love that. I feel like we needed one of these. A little bit of a cool down moment. Put away that meat. Hey yo,
So put away that meat you're selling.
put your dick away,
'Cause I've
Walter.
done up with this. I'm not gonna heal from this. He won't admit to it. Nothing to figure out. I gotta get him out. It's time the truth was out that he don't give a shit about me.
How did she come to this realization? I feel like we're at a realization point here, but I'm not. Was it here? Maybe it's in this first verse. I feel like we've just arrived at this I know what's good for me part without the proper kind of build up to that. We'll see though. We'll see. Maybe I'm just dumb.
And I've done what I could for you, but you're not benefiting. And yet I'm sitting, singing again. Nothing to figure out. I gotta get him out. It's time the truth was out that he don't give a shit about me.
Oh, I'm dumb. This makes sense. She's known this all along, and we've had that kind of bubbling up throughout the album. She's known that this person doesn't care about her, but now she's finally has the courage to kind of get the truth out there. So I don't feel like it isn't earned. You know, I was saying earlier, I feel like we haven't built up to this, but it's making sense.
There's nothing left to grieve. Fucking go, 'cause I've done what I could for you, and I do know what's good for me, and I'm not benefiting. Won't admit to it. Nothing to figure out. I gotta get him out. It's time the truth was out that he don't give a shit about me.
Good track. That's one of my favorites. Again, I feel like it makes sense in the narrative of the album. I feel like these feelings have been bubbling up throughout, but now she's finally letting it out. She's finally letting it known, and I feel like the emotional payoff of this track hit a lot harder because of the patience of the arrangement. It felt like this arrangement really knew. Or the band that she has behind her. I'm assuming it is like some sort of live band. I feel like the structure just really allowed the emotions to hit home on this one. And I can't say that for the rest of the album musically, but I feel like they really kind of mastered it on this track. Great kind of penultimate track. And it fits, it really makes sense having this as the second last track. All right, last track is I Know, which I know that I've heard, but we'll still listen to it. I've never heard this with the context of the album, so I'm interested to see how it fits in.
Until you get out of this mess, all the time I know.
Strings.
I will ask no questions while I do my thing in the background, but all the time.
This is still my favorite track. It's so good. Baby. Best vocal performance on the album.
Just consider this. Even if it don't make sense all the time. So it's okay. Don't need to say it.
I just got chills. I know I said I'm not doing the ratings anymore, but just for that song, it's a 10. It's a 10. It hits even harder in the context of the album. Some sort of affair going on here. Is this what started the downfall of the relationship? Maybe. I don't know. I was kind of expecting the narrative to continue from the last track, but it feels like it's not in a non-linear, or it feels like it's in a non-linear way, which is okay. I feel like it is a fitting ending, even if it's not like super linear in its placement in the track list. It is cool if this would be like maybe the events that started the downfall of that relationship, and then kind of placing it at the end here is just a really somber way to end the album. And I feel like it's on brand for Fiona Apple, because she, especially with On the or Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and I say that album name weird every single time, Fetch the Bolt Cutters. I feel like on that album and on this album, it's very pessimistic. It's very doubtful. It's very doubtful in general. I couldn't think of another word. And I feel like this is just the perfect way to end it. If you're coming to Fiona Apple for that vibe, it makes sense, Yeah, this was a great album. This was pretty solid. I do have some complaints, definitely. Like I said, the stuff that I've already talked about, I won't talk about it again. But in terms of the writing, pretty fantastic, pretty blunt, straightforward, in your face, but still enough depth to dive into. Yeah, vocally as well, she's pretty dynamic and pretty versatile, I feel like. The way she kind of morphs her vocal timbre in these tracks is really intriguing. That's going to do it for this video. Those are my thoughts on Fiona Apple, When the Pawn. Leave your thoughts down below, as always, and leave a like if you want. Subscribe. Go join the Patreon. This will be uncut on there as well. And of course, you get priority album requests if you join the $8 tier. And yeah, that's going to do it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.